there's a part of your emotion that's just like something's off here. It's gonna come later. But one thing I noticed is that everyone working in this haunted house just was so friendly and had the biggest smile on their faces. And I could kind of see why afterwards, because of the biggest jump scare. So most of this haunted house was made with animatronics, right? Most of the characters and the ghosts were just different animatronics, and it was like,
yeah, it's kind of not that scary.
It's kind of janky.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have known when I saw the ride, and it was like anyone 6 and over can come into this haunted house, and I was like, if it's suitable for a 6-year-old, how bad could it be? But there was one moment where it did involve, I guess, a real person.
Okay.
Right, and I guess this person's job was just to come out of this one point of the haunted house and just scare the shit out of people. And I'm like, honestly, that sounds like a really fun fucking job. Yeah. Right?
You're basically just Sully from Monsters Inc. Yeah. That's literally like your like
fill up the scare tag.
Someone watched that movie, was like, damn, that doesn't sound like
that was fun.
Job. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so like right at the end, you're presented with like this big statue, and it's like, oh, it's just another janky animatronic. Then out of fucking nowhere appears the only human or ghostly thing that you've seen this entire thing, and it scared the shit out of me because I wasn't expecting a real like human being. Luckily, like they didn't touch you or they didn't grab you or anything, because I swear to God, I would have punched.
I don't think they grab you.
I think my survival instincts when it comes to it,
for everyone's safety, they don't touch you.
I would have like
just get close to you.
Yeah, they got pretty close.
But that's what I like about like, especially like Japanese horror, right? It's because it's like, it's that whole thing of like, you know, not expecting the unexpected, right? Of the whole thing of like, oh, they set it up to be like, there's a jump scare coming up in this particular scene, get ready for it, and then they don't give it to you. Yeah. And then what that leaves you with is this like unsettling feeling of just being on the edge of your seat the entire time, being like, well, fuck, if it's not on the obvious spot, then where the fuck is it? Yeah. Right? And I think that's why, like, as much as I don't like horror movies or like horror games and stuff like that, I fuck with a lot of like Japanese horror, like movies, because they're so good at that. Like that building, that's just like the original Ring movie. You seen that one? Yeah. Yeah. Like there's the one scene where they just like, there's this music building up and it's like slowly zooming in and like, you know, horror movie trope. Yeah. There's going to be a jump scare at the end of it. Yeah. But then there's nothing. And so what that does is that it leaves you hanging and just goes, well, fuck, now I don't know where the jump scare is, and I'm afraid the entire time, even through scenes where they're just casually talking. Yeah. Right. And I feel like, you know, that's what you kind of experienced in that Japanese haunted house. Because I was kind of the same. Like, I've been to like I was dragged into 1 or 2 haunted houses in Australia. Yeah. And it's like, here comes a zombie. Oh, here comes another thing. Oh, here comes something popping out of the closet. Blah, 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 right? It's like, all right.
They're normally like on the back of trucks.
What?
Right. Well, they're like the carnival things that are folded out. Oh. So they're like, I don't know how they make it, but like they're like really quick. It's like 6 dudes just shout at you. I could, you know, and I could have just gone home and got that. So,
right.
You know,
you can get that here.
Yeah. But the one in Fuji-Q is really good.
Scariest one, right?
It was insane.
Yeah.
Like, I had never been to a haunted house where I thought like every single detail was kind of off the charts.
Is that the one where it's like every 5 minutes there's an emergency exit in case people
every 5 minutes.
Oh, shit. Were you scared going through it?
I mean, like the jump scares are kind of scary. I was definitely hamming it up for the camera. Obviously, of course, I have to say that. But like, you know, it's a kind of boring video if I'm just like kind of casually going. I'm like, all right, this is cool. I mean, like, you know, there's only like a few ways they can really scare you. I was more like, I was just super impressed with like the detail and also how kind of fucked up it got. Like, there's rooms with like dead babies, torn open, and like bodies like full fucked up. Like,
did Kojima produce this?
It's no joke. You go into this one room because it's got abandoned. I think the story. I didn't listen to it. I mean, it was in Japanese, and also I was trying to mess with the camera. I said it didn't work. Yeah. And also we weren't allowed to film the story. But I mean, you know, the story generally was like some people went to this hospital, it was abandoned, and they went to see it, and then they got lost in there, and now you're going in again. And like, dude, it was like, I imagine if you like haunted houses, this is probably like the apex. Like this was like, imagine like a whole hospital. They just built this building, and every single room was insanely well like themed and built. Even like the office rooms were terrifying. Yeah. I was like, fuck, the dust is off the charts. I'm gonna contract something. But like, it was crazy. I mean, if Sydney like the one I'm sure she'd love one for you. You do have to book it, I think, separate from your ticket and in advance. Right. Which is kind of annoying because it's like you get the ticket and then you pay another $16 to go into this just haunted house.
But you said it's like like an hour experience, right?
If you're fast, I imagine it can be like 20, 30. But if you're taking a sweet time, I was just like,
most theme park rides.
I'd rather take my sweet time, especially in a haunted house experience, because mean, like,
Yeah, see my video. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to. I mean, I wouldn't love to, but I'm sure Sydney would. I don't know why she loves horror movies so fucking much.
I swear she's watching a new horror movie every day.
She watches like dog shit though. She watches like straight to not even DVD, like straight to like Ouya.
Straight to VHS.
Like, straight to the garbage movie.
I don't know how she finds so many horror movies. I didn't even know there were this many horror movies being made. But
at this point, she should just like start a series where she reviews shit horror movies. Like she's probably seen so many now.
Yeah, but apparently in America, it's like a big, like fucking massive thing. Even like a lot of like low budget ones that are being made. There's an entire stream service dedicated to just horror movies. I'm like,
okay, like what's the? In the past like 10 years, how many good horror movies we had? Like 2, right? Like
what's good ones? Define. Okay, here's the thing. I genuinely don't know how I would define a good horror movie.
I also don't watch horror, so this comes from a guy who doesn't watch horror movie judging.
Yeah.
What was the one that came out that was really fucking good like 5-6 years ago? That was like really budget. I forget what it was called. I only think about the video games now.
I personally like Hereditary.
That was the one. Hereditary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated that. That fucked me up.
Yeah, it fucked me up.
Right?
Yeah. It fucked me up. But at least what I appreciate about Hereditary and just Ari Aster films in general, like also Midsommar as well was like, an awesome fucking movie.
Yeah, I watched Midsommar.
But it's like I liked it because it's like yes, it's scary, but it's also just fucking weird.
Yeah.
And it's like a trip of a movie.
Yeah.
And it's like the way that like they scare in those movies especially. It's like I love that he doesn't rely on jump scares. Like in Hereditary, maybe there's like 2 jump scares at most that I can remember, but like those aren't the scariest moments of the movie. Like the scariest moments are the really quiet moments of the movie.
I couldn't finish that movie actually.
Really?
I finished
it's probably better because the last 10 minutes were fucking weird.
Yeah, I finished Midsommar. That was still like unnerving and like scary, but you know, it didn't fuck me up. I remember there was this one scene in Hereditary. It happened like pretty early on, but yeah. I mean, without spoiling exactly what happens, there was a scene involving a mother that was just screaming and crying.
Oh yeah.
And that was like such a guttural scream. It kind of like induced in me PTSD that I guess I didn't even know I had because I've never experienced what the mother is doing. Yeah. But it was like it's to the point where I was like, this is like too well acted.
Yeah.
Where I feel like
she was so good in that.
Yeah, she was so good that I couldn't finish it. I was like, this is getting to a point of real to the point where I'm like, I feel like I'm seeing something I shouldn't be seeing now.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I have no memory of anything about. Bird Box, great horror movie. Did you watch that one?
Bird Box?
Remember when I wanted the Bird Box challenge?
Yeah.
You remember this movie?
I never watched it. I saw the memes of it. Yeah. What is that movie about?
So, dude,
because I saw the memes of like everyone blindfolded.
Because it was crazy. Because it was just like blue. I can't fucking bring this fucking movie up. This is like a fucking big horror film.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it.
Oh my god, is this okay? Again, this is like a 4-year-old memory of me explaining a movie. I didn't really like that much. So like there was just a monster that came. I can't remember why, and it would only kill you if you like looked at it.
Oh. Okay. So it's the opposite of the Weeping Angels.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And then like I guess throughout the movie, obviously people look at it and I guess people go crazy and they're like, I have to look at it. And then all I have memory now is like, okay, one, it was terrible.
Yeah.
And everyone doing the stupid Bird Box challenge afterwards, which is people just walking around blindfolded, which is just like, okay, you mean being blind is a challenge now? All right, okay.
Blind people can see this.
Yeah. And then I remember there's another thing where like, so in the movie you never see the thing that's killing everyone. You never see it. And then afterwards, I don't know if it was like a joke or what. They were like, hey, this is what it was actually gonna look like, and it looked like ass. It was like the shittiest looking thing.
There's another movie with a similar premise where like the thing that's killing everyone, can't be seen. Do you guys watch The Happening?
No.
Wait, what's that one?
It's the fucking movie where it's like, who was in that movie again? I think it was Mark Wahlberg. I think
was that the M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Was it? I don't know if it was M. Night Shyamalan, but like I only watched like the first third of that movie. It was so shit. But basically, the general premise from what I can remember is like there's this thing called
like the next 40 minutes is 3 dudes who don't watch horror. Horror sucks.
Yeah, it's like this movie where like Mark Wahlberg is like people are just like mysteriously dying from this phenomenon that no one can see, and they call it The Happening. And they just like all these people are dying. What's happening? And then Mark Wahlberg fucking runs around trying to figure it out. And again, I don't know how it ends. I wasn't.
It's called Step. Can I hang up? No, you cannot hang up your Skype call.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's really good.
Oh yeah, dining happen. Good behind goes on. Just watch YouTube summary of horror movies. I'm that guy.
I think I watched.
Hey, good story. And I think this is what I think is my personal way, and the best way to experience horror movies for me is to not watch horror movies, but to watch YouTube summary of horror movies. I'm that guy.
I think I watched Unfriended the same way the first time. I watched it through YouTube videos. There's no way it's a shit to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch all the Saw movies just from all those videos of like, what's the possibility of escaping a Saw trap?
Okay.
Saw is so bad.
Before people clown on me, let me sell it to you. Okay, I get to experience the horror movie because one of the things I think is very interesting about horror movies is the mystery aspect. Okay, every horror movie, I love horror movies, even the shitter ones. They have like really interesting concepts that kind of like draw you into like what's scary going on behind the scenes. You know, so what fucked up thing is this horror movie about? And 90% of them, it's a dumb twist, or like once you uncover the mystery, it's a dumb mystery. You're like, fuck, I just spent an hour and a half for a really stupid reveal. So like the best way for me to reveal to consume it is just to watch YouTube summaries, which means I don't have to be scared and I get presented with a lot of interesting ideas from all these different horror movies, and I don't have to wait an hour and a half to kind of like fully realize if the reveal is worth it.
You might as well just fucking read the Wikipedia at that point.
You know what? Maybe I will, Joey. Maybe I will.
You just read the Wikipedia.
Just go to the IMDb page, watch the trailer while reading the synopsis. There you go.
I don't know. It's specific horror movies where I just love watching summaries of them.
That fuck up. Not to throw back to hentai, but that hospital hentai was the horror thing I watched in years. Scared me.
That was scary. Yeah,
definitely.
But a genuine horror movie that I did enjoy, that is a horror movie, is I believe the name is As Above,
As Above, So Below.
As Above, So Below. Something along those lines.
The one, yeah,
the French catacombs.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's very like Blair Witch.
Is it like people get lost in the catacombs and things? Okay.
Yeah. Just think Blair Witch, but in the French catacombs.
Yeah. They get lost in the catacombs, but things start happening, and they find out weird things. And there is a reason why all these things happen, which is what I liked about it is it was less about the jump scares, and it was more about the unnerving ideas of what they found in the catacombs. You know, and that's why I liked it.
People.
They see a baguette on the ground. It's a perfectly good baguette. Who wasted?
Yeah, well, there is nothing more terrifying than finding French people underground. Honestly, I would just off myself at that point. You know, just being stuck underground with French people. Okay, I'm done.
Oh man, I'm trying to think.
Do you like Paranormal Activity?
No. I watched the first Paranormal Activity on a plane.
You know, that's the best one, right?
The first one?
Out of like the 7, that's the best one.
I guess so. Like I fell asleep.
Didn't you watch all 7?
Yes.
I fell asleep in like 20 minutes.
You should watch some of the other ones.
Why?
They're very funny.
Oh, really?
They're really funny.
Like, look, I get the whole thing of like, oh, it was, it was a really low budget film and Steven Spielberg liked it, so we greenlit it and blah blah blah. But like, I'm just like, bro, like Live Leak is scarier than this shit. Like, just fucking
yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think the problem with Paranormal Activity was that like it was trying to sell you on like the realistic aspect, but it's like, okay, I get it, using the security camera footage and all that kind of shit. But it's like, if I know it's a movie, then it's just like immediately less scary.
mystique to it. That's what made it scary.
Yeah.
If you actually watch the Blair Witch knowing that it's a film, I think it's a lot less scary knowing that, this is a film that was produced and filmed and scripted rather than, oh my god, we just found like a tape and we don't know what it is,
We're gonna put it in the cinemas anyway.
Yeah, I feel like that don't give it to the police. Like, we were a lot dumber back then, okay? I know the mystique has gone thanks to the internet now, but you might not remember this, but when growing up before the age of the internet, things like this could exist. Like I remember, what was it, like Cannibal Holocaust or something?
Yeah.
Like didn't like the director of that get arrested because people actually thought
it was
that
real,
it was
yeah.
actually fucking real?
Yeah.
And I heard that there were some horrendous things happening on set of that film anyway, but it wasn't a snuff film.
Yeah, exactly.
Thankfully enough.
I would actually say that, like, as much as I don't like horror films, B-grade horror films are so fucking fun to watch because it's like immediately just from the scuffed nature of it, it just becomes more satirical and actually in a lot of ways actually just really entertaining and funny. The best B-grade horror film I ever watched was, do you know this movie called Dead Sushi?
No, what is that?
So it was made by this guy called Takashi Miike, who's like the most like infamous,
Takashi Miike, okay.
he's like the most infamous Japanese director. But it's one of his. He made like a fuckload of B-grade horror films, but it's
a lot of them pretty fucked up.
and a lot of them fucked up.
Yeah.
I think he actually used to like direct porn before he did that. It was hilarious. But like that's one of the ones that Aki showed me. It's essentially just this like story of, I'm trying to remember because it's been a while, but it's essentially like there's this like female lead who is goes to like a sushi establishment because she wants to like learn the craft of like making sushi and stuff like that. And I think something along the lines of like some like radioactive waste spills onto some sushi and then the sushi come alive and start killing people.
So sausage party, but
Yeah, basically. And it's basically this sushi, but like they grow teeth and shit, and they're just like, and they just fucking fly through the air and kill people. It's so jank, but it's so hilarious and entertaining. And like there's a couple of scenes where it's like genuinely unknown because it's a Miike film, right? Like he gets really gory with his films. I think he was the one that made what is it, Audition? That like really fucked up like snuff-like film.
Yeah, that was probably his vision.
Sydney was talking about it like a month later. I was like, yeah, it's actually this is one of my favorite horror films of all time. It's amazing, and just, it tells me. And I was like, oh, we watched that differently. It was called Cam. It's like it's a horror film came out on Netflix. Like fucking go. I watched it. It's bad.
Well, me, it's so scary.
It's like YouTube prank gone wrong. The breaking the light. Where you're fucking crazy.
Felt help.
I watched why I like the film, the Japanese one. The American one is shit. They like completely botched that one. But the killing all
you can just something in your room or something is just off, and you don't know if you just have shit memory or if like something is.
or your partner is terrorizing.
I'm currently in that phase again where I'm falling asleep to listening to like cave stories. I don't know why. It's been a few months, so they've made videos. People talk about it, and every time I go to bed now, I'm listening to that, like someone dying in a cave. I'm like, did I lock the door? Hopefully I locked the door.
What are you listening to?
I don't know. It's like these guys, because all horror channels, like credit what credits do, they're so monotone.
Right.
Like, they're never like hyped up about. Like they're not like fucking YouTubers.
Yeah.
Right.
You will not believe what happened in this cave. It's always like, in this cave on January 14th, 1967, 2 kids went in and 1 guy came out. This is the story about the deadly cave, known as the Flucky Wucky Cave.
I'll tell you what I've been listening while falling to sleep recently. It's I've been listening to, I guess, science and physics videos.
I do that all the time.
And this is gonna sound so bad, right? This is gonna sound so bad because there's this one YouTube channel, I think it's called History of the Universe, where he breaks down some like concepts to do with physics and puts like a really, really interesting story into it and gives like really interesting metaphors and basically goes through the entire history about how this discovery was made and how we came to discover, let's say, our perception of how time works. Can we time travel backwards and forwards? He basically goes through everything, and it's super, super interesting. Because a lot of times,
summoning salt of physics.
Yeah, it's kind of like something, you actually said it perfectly. It's like basically the summoning salt of physics because I've heard a lot of because a lot of stuff.
And then Kepler came
And so we're gonna click through time right now. We're gonna go to the fourth dimension. There's a lot of stuff that he talks about. I already know because I'm super interested in this stuff anyway. But the way he portrays the information is just super, super interesting. And for some reason, helps me get to sleep like that. I discovered him when we were touring America. And for some reason, whenever I put a video on, and all of his videos are like at least 50 minutes minimum, right? And 50. So it's like 50.
Really,
literally the summoning salt of physics, right? And I just like, for some reason, his voice is so calming that I get invested in his story. And then about 20 minutes in, I'm just like conked out. I wake up, this entire playlist is just done, right? And so
that's turn up knowing 1/5 of the physics class.
So every time he releases a new video, it takes me about 3 weeks to get through it because I'm like, I keep falling asleep. I'm like, shit, this is such an, I want to know how this video ends. I need to see the entire video because it's a super interesting story. I get invested, and then even though I'm invested, I fall asleep. So I'm like, this is not good for the video.
I've had that so often with like falling asleep to like Veritasium videos or like Cascade videos. It's just like it's the tone at which they talk at, and the kind of slow pacing in nature. And like it's obviously just like the lack of like fucking YouTube sound effects and shit like that, right? Where it's like, oh, this is just like it's nice. It's like someone's just talking to me. Just asleep. I don't know what it is. Something about hearing people talk about just like physics concepts is just like
because there's no volume change.
Yeah.
If you watch one of my videos, it's just like, bro, it looks like a fucking seismograph.
Yeah.
Can't tell me.
This episode is sponsored by Vessies. Have you guys ever seen a single photo of me, Connor, and Gun recently? Then you've probably seen us rocking a sick pair of Vessi shoes.
There is nothing that Vessies cannot solve. We travel to Thailand, Vessies. We travel to Hawaii, Vessies. Anywhere we go, we wear our Vessies.
We sim for Vessies way too hard.
They're more extra grip and
use code TRASH.
Things must be going through your mind right now.
Oh, tell me about it, man. It's terrifying, honestly.
A lot of us can feel that maybe our lives are changing really fast and we've lost track of who we are. And that's why at one point I asked this therapist who can take myself and the boys
today to get
some of
any
it.
I've watched a few episodes, yes.
Which ones did you watch?
I think the first couple ones.
I watched all of them.
Why?
Holy shit.
When I was getting ready for the cyclothon, I was like, what's something? But yeah, Junji Ito, that anime. Did you guys watch it?
I haven't. I've watched
some
of it.
Any of the episodes?
I've watched a few episodes, yes.
Which ones did you watch?
I think the first couple of ones.
I watched all of them.
Why?
Holy shit.
When I was getting ready for the cyclothon, I was like, what's something that I can kind of like stop watching at any point and not feel like I need to like because like some shows, it's like I hate it if I have to stop it halfway.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, I just want to
keep watching it.
I just want to keep watching, or I want to. If I stop where I am right now, I'm gonna have to backtrack like 5 minutes to remember where I was.
Yeah.
Whereas normally the episodes end and they normally kind of
Episodic, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know. So I was just watching it and I was like, holy shit, none of these are good.
Yeah, can we just appreciate this moment where the boys have watched something that I haven't watched? But I guess the reason
because you're fucking smart.
Yeah, you're
have a
probably
brain.
better off.
You're too busy watching 19 isekais.
So the reason I haven't watched it is because I believe this is another adaptation that's different from the Junji Ito collection that aired like 5 years
Which
ago.
was
is this also called the Junji Ito collection?
I believe.
No. It's called the Tales of the Macabre. That's
Tales
and
of the
it's
Macabre.
on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. So
And like nobody fucking said anything about this.
yeah,
It wasn't in any of your videos.
it wasn't.
That's
yeah.
where I normally find out about what's going on in anime is watching your videos. And so like I remember, I think we were at Sumo and Felix just goes, "Oh, have you been watching this new Junji Ito thing?"
that's
And I was like, "What the fuck? This is a new Junji?"
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Felix was the one that told me.
Yeah, and no one's speaking about it. He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I just saw it on Netflix,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I watched it, and I
I
was
wonder
like,
why no one's speaking about it.
Yeah.
"Oh my god, dude, it's so bad."
Yeah.
I think, and I don't say this lightly, I have never seen. It's been years since I've watched an anime this bad.
Yeah.
It is so dog shit.
Yeah, this just further proves this and the Junji Ito collection, which I sat through the entirety of because I hate myself. Like, just like solid evidence. You cannot adapt Junji Ito stuff.
Yeah, I think Junji Ito is unadaptable.
Yeah.
I
Have you read any of his manga?
no.
Do yourself a favor. Like,
Look,
that'll be a nice eye cleanse.
Watching this, I feel like how like seeing the stories portrayed in that light can never. I don't think I can ever see them as funny ever again.
Scary.
Not scary because to me, 70% of them were funny. The other 30% were just boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they open up with this. Holy shit! This most god awful episode of anime I've ever watched in my life. You watched the first episode, right?
Yes.
The one with like the Addams family, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Imagine the Addams family.
That's
like
that's a
five
weak
ti-
story in the manga.
Yeah,
that's
but
a
like
shit
5 times
story.
less
Yeah.
fun. And for some reason, they put that as the first episode.
Yeah.
So like everyone who's watching this has to sit through this garbage episode.
Well, they did that with the Junji Ito collection as well. They opened up with
Why?
like the kid who like curses everyone.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, this is a shit story. Like, why would you open up with this?
So then you open up this anime, right? And holy fuck, you get greeted with the intro song. It's like they were paying someone to miss because the opening song is a fucking like screamo metal song.
Yeah.
How is that horror? How does that at all get me in the mood for horror? Like all of Junji Ito's things, like climactic, kind of like slow build,
Like quiet, right? Yeah.
And it's like you have like this guy. It's like, oh no, we're gonna visit my family grave, and then he goes, "Rah! Get ready for the anime, yeah!" And then you just start this stupid Addams Family shit, and it's not even remotely scary. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know.
As a song, it's fine, but just don't. It was the
Yeah, it
worst
makes-
mix and match.
It
Yeah.
makes no fucking sense. And then like I was waiting for the iconic episodes or like the iconic stories. that
Yeah,
I've
so
heard,
one
like-
of the most iconic episodes, which you told me off camera, was the one with the balloon heads.
that shit was so
Yeah.
funny.
And that is like normally looked at as one of his, that's a fan favorite story.
Yeah.
One of the short stories that people very much like and very much portrays the Junji Ito style. And I remember telling that to Connor. He was like, I found it fucking hilarious.
Bro, because in the show they're like, well, honey, it looks like everybody outside is being turned into balloons. And he's like, well, I'm off to work. And he just dies right away. He just walks outside and fucking dies, even though he just made an observation that there are murderous balloons outside. And
That's what you have to understand about Junji Ito, though. Like, no one. I think the person who takes Junji Ito stories the least serious is Junji Ito himself.
Oh,
which is why, like, I don't know if they just misunderstood what the shit was meant to be, because like, and in the same fucking balloon thing, the whole twist at the end is like the main girl who we're following, right? So everyone outside for some reason has been turned into murderous balloons, and when you die, you also turn into a murderous balloon.
Yeah.
There is no more context. That is it.
Nope.
Yeah.
And they like grab you by they have like nooses attached to the
Yep.
bottom of the balloons, and they just go and hang you.
Yeah.
I imagine it's terrifying in the manga. In the anime, it's fucking
It's
funny as fuck.
unsettling in the manga. Yeah.
It's like his stuff isn't terrifying.
Yeah.
It is just unsettling.
Yeah.
And 99% of that is just to do with his art, because
Right.
his art is fucking incredible, right? To the point where if you don't portray,
I've seen the art; it looks amazing.
yeah. His art just evokes. The best way I can describe it is that it just evokes emotions,
Yeah.
right? And unless you translate those emotions, like his like singular pen scratches that he does, the way he shades everything, there is no way to translate this still like painting that he's basically made into like an animated form, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because a lot of his stories on paper are pretty ridiculous because
Yeah.
they
Oh,
are.
they're all like really absurd,
Yeah.
which is why it was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah,
Because then when it was funny, it was quite funny.
yeah,
Like the ending of the balloon one, to spoil it if you care. There's like
It's
the-
like a 10-page short.
yeah,
story,
this
so
girl
Yeah.
is like trapped in because they. You know, the geniuses of this world figured out if you just don't leave the house, you can't die.
Yeah.
Obviously, you need to get food. Anyway, her like dead brother is like knocking on the window, being like, "Hey, I'm outside." She's like, "Oh shit, for real?" Opens the door. Obviously, it's a fucking dead body balloon, but how is the body even fucking talking? It's so fucking dumb. There was one story that I kind of liked the premise a lot, and they just kind of fucked it up right at the end.
Which one?
The Toontown one. Which sounds like Toontown, but in my British accent, it's Toontown.
Toontown.
As they called it. It's where when people die in this town, they immediately, like, you can't touch the bodies. They just turn into gravestones on the spot.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And it was kind of a really cool concept because we agreed to this idea, and the main character runs over a girl,
yeah.
and then he's with his sister, and he's like, "Oh my god, we should do something." He's like, "No, put her in the fucking trunk. We'll bury her." I'm like, "Oh, okay, jeez." And then they go into this town, and there's just fucking gravestones everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's so fucked. It's so fucked. And then they go to this house to meet their friend, and it turns out they just run over her sister. And then they're like, "Oh, where's our sister?" He's like, "I don't know, right, sister? We don't know." And then eventually they throw her in the well, and it turns into this shitty CGI dragon that looks horrible, like ass, and it's so fucking stupid. Oh, it's so dumb.
Every time like a new Junji Ito anime adaptation comes out, there's like 1% of my brain that's like, this is the one. This is the one that's going to change it. And every single fucking time, it's just gotten worse and worse. I thought the Gyo movie was bad when I first watched that.
I was gonna say, I think Yo is the only decent.
I think,
Junji Ito adaptation.
after the Junji Ito collection and this new one, I
Yeah.
think now it makes
Okay.
Those were so bad. It makes Gyo look like a masterpiece.
I'm gonna defend Yo because it's not really known
What is
that it
Gyo?
was.
Tell me what Gyo is.
So
It's one of the long stories by.
it's one of the long stories got adapted into a movie.
Live
by
action?
No.
Thank God.
Animated
Thank God.
by Studio Ufotable.
What?
Studio Ufotable
Yeah.
animated a Junji Ito adaptation, and it's the best animated adaptation he's ever gotten, and probably ever will get. But I would say that the manga itself, it had some like incredible body horror, and that was like one of the standouts about it. You put that in an anime form, and it's not scary.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I'm gonna say that it's not scary. But holy shit, it was so much fun.
It was so funny.
So the entire concept of Go is basically fish start invading land, right? And how do they invade land? There are sharks and fish, and they grow robot legs.
Yeah, they have mechanical legs underneath.
I think I've seen the stills of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've probably seen the still of like the shark with the mechanical legs entering the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a really famous shot.
Yeah, so they just invade the land, and I guess fish have decided to take the earth back because they are the ones who rule the earth now.
Yeah.
And it's just
It
a
was
whole
theirs.
and it's just a whole movie about fish terrorizing people on land with mechanical legs. Some scientists try to do some wild experiments, and it goes wrong.
Yeah.
always goes wrong.
And it's just turn your brain off popcorn fun.
Okay.
I had a good fucking time watching that. It was like watching a bee.
I should have fucking watched that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was it scary? No. Was it hilarious? Yes.
There was one that was kind of scary, a little bit. What's the one with the where they peel the skin off?
Oh, that one. I can't remember what that
was kinda
one's
fucked.
called.
That was kind of well
sounds
done.
fucked, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like they find out from some. Of course, it's always an archaeological site where they move
Yeah.
some body, and then turns out that she just has like 26 layers of skin.
Yeah.
And
And
then
then she like ages or something. Like,
It's like one for every age.
Yeah.
And then her mom is like fucking obsessed with her being like young again, so she starts tearing off her daughter's face.
Yeah.
But it was really funny in the anime for like the first half, and then it actually got scary.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories of his as well. But again, a lot of his is just to do with his art and the way he sets the tone of his stories. Because like the balloon one, it's on paper, it's just ridiculous. And even like the skin one as well.
Oh my god, this keeps reminding me of the other fucking stories. One of the stories was like, hey, you probably watched this one too. It's where like, hey, my brother's making too much noise in the other room. So we're going to hire a carpenter to make my room soundproof.
Yeah.
And then the guy comes in, he's like, yeah, of course I can make it soundproof. So he builds 4 rooms inside of a room, and one of them is just a tiny ass cub. He's like, there you go, it's soundproof now. And then his brother just goes between the walls, just menacing him.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then he like lays like fucking oil and grease in it to trap him. And it's like, what the fuck is this? Like this? No. You know what takes the cake? Sorry, I'm running even another one.
Go off.
Okay.
There's another story. All these sound fucking stupid when I explain them. Did you see the ice cream one?
No, I don't think so.
Have you seen this one? Yes. There's a story that opens up, and this is a guy who drives an ice cream truck. And he's like, hey, kids in the neighborhood, who wants some ice cream?
Yeah.
And then the dad's like, no, I can't let him, like, it's ice cream. I can't let him go in the ice cream truck. And then, like, all the other kids are in the ice cream truck. He's like, fine, go in the ice cream truck. Kid goes in the ice cream truck. This fucking ice cream truck goes around the corner with, like, the worst goddamn CGI you've ever seen in your life. It was terrible. Anyway, so it comes out, and then kid comes back, and he's, like, kind of miserable. And he's like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go to the ice cream truck again. So he goes in the ice cream truck again. And then the kid comes back and comes out with his friend. His friend starts turning into fucking ice cream. And then he starts licking his friend. And then it turns out that like everyone in this truck is just old kids that turned into ice cream. And then you turn into ice cream when you lick the kid ice cream. And then it was just like, what is this shit? And then this dad's kid turns into an ice cream. He's like, no! It's just like, what is this shit?
I respect it. I respect it. Like, to the point where it's like, I feel this is just like Junji Ito's like personal challenge to like look at something in the real world. Like, he'll look at a chair and be like, I can make a horror story.
I like that he never tries to fucking explain his horror.
No,
like,
that's the good thing.
Yeah, the guy driving the ice cream truck. What's his deal? You'll never know.
Yeah, he knows it's fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
What was the other one? Tomie, is that the famous one?
Tomie was good though. Tomie is really fucking good.
I thought it wasn't good in the show.
Really?
I didn't get it in the show.
You didn't get it?
I didn't get it.
What do you mean?
I didn't really so she was just like cursed? Like her face or some shit? It was fucking weird.
Yeah.
I was like, what's the point of this shit?
Well, trying to decipher the intricacies of a Junji Ito story is hard.
That's the thing. It's not about what it's about, because most of it is unexplained, and it's made that way because as soon as you explain something, it just becomes less scary, right?
Yeah. It's just open to interpretation.
I agree.
Yeah, as soon as you bring the answers. So, one of his most famous works is Uzumaki, which that was his thing, where I guess he tried to make something horrific around this really abstract concept, spirals. Yeah. So for some reason, spirals just start becoming cursed, right? To the point where
everything turns into spirals.
Everything turns into a spiral.
Cool.
Like, we don't go back to monkey, we go back to spiral, you know?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, you've probably seen that, like, one of the most famous shots from Uzumaki is this shot of, like, it's inside, like, a big, like, shallow barrel.
Yeah.
And, like, it just appears in the living room one day, and the daughter and the mum are like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this barrel? And they open it up, and it's the husband that's been, like, wrapped around inside.
Oh my God.
And, like, just, like, completely de-skinned and everything.
Yeah.
And it's fucking horrific in the manga.
And I'm just like, yo, how scary can spirals be? How
and then you see that pattern, you're like, oh, this shit is fucked.
This shit is fucked. And then, you know, you find out, like, people start avoiding spirals, and you're like, that shouldn't be too hard. And then you realize that your inner ear has, like, a spiral in it. And it's just, like, some of these, like, wild fucking ideas where...
It's like Bird Box, but you can't see the spirals.
Yeah. There's a spiral everywhere.
Look at the spirals.
I don't want to look at the spirals.
Yeah. And then it just becomes, like, really good, kind of like cosmic Lovecraftian horror. Because he never explains what's up with the spirals, you know? You never get an explanation.
Even in Gyo, they never explain it. It's why are the fish coming to terrorize us? I don't fucking know. They just are.
I think just voice acting these kind of stuff just hurts it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Just hearing people voice it, I think,
agree.
Yeah.
in a weird way, kind of takes the heavy lifting that your brain might be doing for you to make it scarier.
Yeah.
And puts it on someone else, and you have to kind of like listen to them.
Again,
like,
I think like the biggest advantage of Junji Ito stories is just like it uses its like quietness to its advantage.
Yeah.
So the moment you start adding anything like voice acting or music or sound effects, it just feels tacky.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It could honestly be the most well animated thing. But the moment you start to hear stuff like that, I feel it just takes away from the subtlety of it.
Is Junji Ito like super popular in Japan? Is people really well known?
He's, I'd say infamous.
Because I told some people, I'm like, oh, have you seen Junji Ito? They're like, who?
I feel like if you like manga, you'll
Maybe-
know him,
oh,
but
okay,
like he's
okay.
not like a household name or anything like
Okay.
that.
I
thought
feel
he
like if
was.
you just like horror as well, because I talk to some people who have like are not into like the anime sphere at all. I talked to someone who was just like, what the fuck is Attack on Titan? And somehow he had read a Junji Ito work just because he was like super into horror.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how we get him into anime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Start
Which-
off with horror with
Yeah.
a Blair Witch, end up
Which
in,
was
like, Meow Meow
great
Boom.
because he was like, I'm really into Lovecraftian horror, but I've read Junji Ito stuff. Is there anything else you could recommend? And I was like, ooh boy, do I have something for you called Made in Abyss, which I think is the best, Lovecraftian horror in anime right now,
I
if not
agree.
ever.
Yeah.
I didn't start. I don't know if it always started off that way, but especially Made in Abyss season 2, it's just
I
gotten
mean,
like
the fucking movie was
Oh,
kind
the
of
movie
the
was
movie.
fucked.
Holy shit! But
gross.
like what blows my mind about Made in Abyss is that it's just getting harder and harder to recommend now. Not because it's getting
fucked.
Yeah.
not because it's getting worse, but it's getting progressively more and more weird in a way that I can't really convey with words.
It's really difficult to explain season 2.
Yeah.
Season 2 is a weird one. Like, it
Yeah.
was great, but it was also like, what the fuck did I watch? Like, what am I watching?
So many times I had to backtrack, being like, "Hold on, I need to hear that explanation again." one more
Yeah.
time.
And that's what I personally love. I love the direction that Made in Abyss 2 is going, where it just gives me this like creepy. It fucks with your emotions in a way that few pieces of media can, because you can't really describe how it goes about doing that. All you know is that it is doing something really weird and making you feel really uncomfortable and weird things, and you can't really explain why it's doing that.
Season 2 made me give up on the fact that there'll be a good ending. It's gonna be a bad.
Define good
It's
ending.
gonna be a bad ending.
Define good
Like a
ending.
horrific ending.
Yeah, it's just not gonna end well.
No,
No,
I don't think it ever was planning to go in that direction. To be
I
honest,
thought maybe there's a chance that it could be positive. But
the
I feel like
moment
that's-
I saw Meaty in season 1, I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna be bad."
I think this is really good though. If you haven't watched it, watch Made in Abyss. It is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Check it out.
What would you say then? Because this is always a point of contention. What would you say is the best horror anime? In terms of like, not in terms of scariness, but in terms of what the genre has to offer.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
Another.
No, I didn't even find another funny. I just found another.
I found it fucking funny, man. Holy shit! Those last 2 episodes.
Oh, the last 2 episodes are
Oh
so
my
good.
god, that's the last 2 episodes. The last 2 episodes of Another is a horror classic. in my mind.
Doesn't everyone always recommend? What's it fucking called in Japanese?
Shiki. Shiki's
not
normally
Shiki.
one.
Chiki's good.
The When They Cry in English.
Oh,
What's it?
Higurashi.
Yeah, Higurashi.
Yeah.
everyone always recommends.
Yeah,
It's like the
Higurashi.
horror,
Well,
right?
Higurashi's good for the first 2 seasons, and then from season 3, it just turns into a slice of life.
I mean, I didn't actually finish Higurashi. I've only watched the first season, which is bad. I know, because all the answers come in like the second
Season 2, yeah.
I also did a oopsie and watched it dubbed, which again turned it into a comedy.
yeah.
Because the main character sounds just like fucking Sonic. I don't know why or how they did
Hey guys,
that.
what's with the baseball bats, huh?
Why is everyone dying?
Yeah, I don't know. Is there even a good horror anime?
I would say, because I personally love horror anime.
I'm gonna Google the top 10 horror.
I would
Yeah.
say personally, it's a tie between Mononoke
Okay,
and Magnetic Rose.
I've
Mononoke
not
is
seen
a
Magnetic
horror?
Rose.
So,
Mononoke is a horror.
not Mononoke, not Princess Mononoke.
Oh, I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
Different
like-
one.
I was
I mean,
like,
Princess
bro, what are you
Mononoke can
cooking?
get fucked as well.
Okay,
to be
yeah.
fair. Wait, what's the top one?
Tokyo Ghoul.
Bruh!
Okay.
Who made this list?
Go on, go.
Like, this is
go
like
for it.
Google's. This is Google's suggested.
Okay.
horror.
Okay,
So
okay.
Google's
So we got Tokyo Ghoul.
Elfen Lied,
Elfen Lee,
Parasite.
No,
no, that's an action.
no.
Anything with dubstep automatically is disqualified from horror.
Yeah,
Another
Yeah,
Shiki,
sure.
yeah.
Devilman Crybaby, which is kind of horrific.
Kinda.
Corpse Party.
Oh, yeah, I watched that. That's just gross.
All right, here's the one. High School the D. Crybaby, which is kind of horrific.
Kinda.
Corpse Party.
Oh, yeah, I watched that. That's just gross.
All right, here's the one. High School of the Dead. And then
All right, I found my new favorite horror anime, boys.
Attack on
High
Titan.
School of the Dead.
Attack on
Bro.
Titan.
Attack on Titan.
That has like
Death Note, Dead Man Wonderland.
a lot of what you're saying is like how they have horror elements. It's
Yeah.
like I definitely see the horror elements in something like Attack on Titan and let's say Tokyo
This
Ghoul.
is not a promising start to the list. So this is IGN's top 10 best horror anime of all time, and the picture they chose to show the list is a fucking Death Note. Okay, so this is IGN's,
The absolute state of horror anime.
IGN's top 10 best anime horror of all time. It was posted in October 2022, updated 2 months ago. 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Well, let's see. Let's
Number
roast them
10.
right now.
Theater of Darkness.
Oh, Yamishibai.
Yeah.
Yamishibai is actually
Okay.
like, yeah, it's creepy.
It's okay.
It's horror at least.
It's the queen bee of horror anime. You know what I mean?
Number 9. Tokyo Ghoul. Is Tokyo Ghoul
Why?
a horror? Like, I feel like it's not even...
It's like a horror for like the first 5 minutes, and then it's just
Yeah.
like shonen action show.
Yeah.
Let's
8.
go.
Devilman Crybaby, according to
Okay.
IGN.
Sure.
Number 7. Paranoia Agent.
Yeah, I would label that more as a psychological. But
Yeah.
6. Parasite.
No.
IGN, what are you on? 5. Hellsing. Hellsing is more action than...
No, it's more action. Yeah.
There was nothing that horrified me about that.
4. Perfect Blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would actually say yes.
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 Again,
Number
more on the psychological
Number 3.
aspect.
Never heard of this one. Boogie Pop Phantom.
Boogie Ball Phantom is it's psychological. I wouldn't call that.
It's
horror.
more of a thriller.
2. Higurashi.
Yeah.
Number 1. Death Note.
Number.
Death Note is the best, according to IGN, the best horror
Oh
anime
my
of all
god, that hurts me.
Okay, if anyone ever says Death Note to me, I'm like, yeah, of course I know the best horror anime of all time.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that from now on.
High School of the Dead.
Okay.
High School of
Dude,
the
there's
Dead.
got to be a better rant.
Okay, so
No, there isn't.
There isn't.
I've looked into this
Yeah.
because I'm like, there must be some good horror anime, and a lot of the
doesn't
time, it just doesn't exist. It
okay,
just,
so legit, like as someone who's seen like all those on the list, regardless of if they're horror or not,
Yeah.
but like most horror anime, I would still say Mononoke and Magnetic Rose. Like Mononoke is like, I feel Mononoke is what it would feel like if they actually made a good Junji Ito adaptation.
Okay.
Right.
Where it's like, it has the same like subtleties and quietness of Junji Ito. It's not necessarily scary, it's just super fucking unsettling.
yeah.
Because it's like really quiet and really like, not, I wouldn't say slow, but it definitely takes its time.
Yeah.
And like the concepts are really scary. And then Magnetic Rose is like a short film that was, I think, spearheaded by Otomo Katsuhiro, the creator of Akira. But
Yeah.
it's essentially, think of Perfect Blue in space.
That's all you needed to say, baby. Let's go.
It's literally take the art and animation of Akira and the concept of Perfect Blue in space, and you have Magnetic
sounds
Rose.
sick.
It's fucking awesome.
That sounds sick.
Yeah, and it's super quick. It's like a 40-minute short film, but it's awesome. I
Okay,
would heavily
okay.
recommend it if you like horror.
Yeah,
I saw-
because
oh, go.
go for it. I'm looking into
I
something.
was on Twitter the other day and I saw a GIF of like a really old ass anime. I thought, damn, that was sick.
Which one?
And so I went to the comments and they were like, oh no, don't watch it.
What is it?
And then someone replied to them being like, this anime is banned in Norway for child pornography. And I was like, because I won't watch it then.
Is it Midori?
It was Kite.
Oh,
Kite.
Kite. Yeah.
That's a hentai.
Oh, it's a hentai.
Yeah.
And that's also been adapted into a Samuel L. Jackson live action film as
Yeah,
well, right?
it has.
Yeah.
I had to watch both when I did my review for Kite a
Is
while
it
back.
fucked up?
I can see why it got banned back in the day because I think it came out in the late 90s, I believe.
It was just like, it was one of those moments where I was like, this looks cool. Opens the replies. Oh God.
Yeah,
not.
it's
I've never heard
the
of this.
anime. So the anime is super short. It's like 2 episodes or something. But it got banned in a lot of countries because of that reason. And then yeah, I mean it's well animated. It's a really well animated show, and the concept is interesting, but just the
They
execution
had to,
wasn't.
had to put
Yeah.
that one scene in there. huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's a all ages version as well,
there is?
without the sex scenes
Oh,
and
okay,
everything.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I think it's the one with the sex scenes that got banned
Oh, okay.
because of those
Well,
reasons.
it's nice that they removed the one without it, so
And
you
then,
could watch it.
for some fucking reason, Samuel Jackson was like, "I'm gonna turn that into a live action."
Was it actually him who wanted to do it?
He's in it.
There's no way. Yeah, but okay, but it wasn't.
I don't
him.
know if it was
It wasn't,
spearheaded
it
by
wasn't
him.
him. Like, hey guys, I got this great idea. Like,
But they
let's do it.
they literally heard that Samuel Jackson likes hentai.
Yeah,
They were
yeah,
like,
he's
hey,
like-
yo, you want to be in
Hey,
this?
and he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he would like that hentai.
Yeah. But I had to watch that as well for the review, and it's dog shit. It's
Wow.
really bad.
Which one? Them both?
The live action.
Is the anime good?
The anime, I think, is decent. Again, it has a really interesting concept. So the concept is that like the main girl has this weapon where it's a gun, but the bullets explode on impact.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I saw. I saw a gif of that.
Yeah. So of like the bullet going in and then they explode, and basically it's like the girl looking for her. Basically, it's like it's kind of like a Batman story, essentially.
Yeah.
Of like the girl's parents got killed by this unknown organization,
She's
and
hunting them.
she's on the hunt to like kill the killers.
Yeah.
And so the concept is cool, but it's just like the ending is super fucking weird. Again, there's that like weird problem with like the R18 version.
I feel like this
yeah.
happens so often with stuff I like in anime, where I'm like, this is sick, and then I just find out that it's like Golden Boy we watched like a few
Yeah.
episode ago.
Yeah.
I love that show, and then I saw all the replies to the comments being like, "Yeah, it's a shame about the manga though." And I was like, "What do you? what happened? What happened in the manga?" Apparently, he gets like fucking golden showered and like kidnapped and just turned into a full on porno. And I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?"
Of course.
That wasn't the anime I watched. Like, why? And then I'm like, "Oh, well, this thing looks cool." It's like, "Oh yeah, it's cool. Well, you're a pedo now." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "What the?" I just wanted to watch something cool.
You're a porn addict.
Yeah, you're a porn
Get off, get off Pornhub now.
Like I just wanted to watch. I wanted to watch some. When I find stuff that's old, I'm like, this looks cool. And then
Yeah.
I find out that like everything anime that's cool and old is like all fucked up.
It's like, haha, you actually watch porn, which is surprisingly accurate for a lot of, especially older shows. Yeah.
What was going on in the '90s, dude?
Yeah.
What was
Dude,
Japan going
the
through?
90s OVA like era, they were all unhinged.
Yeah.
There's so many shows that
There were
came
just
out.
so many shows that came out in the 90s that were just like, I couldn't see why anime had this underground kind of aura around it. Because you could just discover like this grossly like,
Weird.
yeah. Like a lot of it was like just an overabundance of violence and gore and like over sexualized shit.
You know what's the best horror anime?
What?
Genocyber.
Well,
Oh my God.
Don't watch that. It sucks.
crazy how now it feels like every, you have like Redo of a Healer on that weird shit in anime,
Yeah.
and everyone's talking about how like, dude, it's so fucked up, it's so gross. It feels like, damn. I mean, I feel like we really fucking tamed down though compared to what they were releasing.
Nah, I
in
think
the
Redo
90s.
of Healer. I think Redo of a Healer is worse. If I'm being honest.
You
Really?
think so?
I don't know. Just like
I don't know if
Is
it's
it because it's like conceptually more fucked up?
I will say something to do with the art styles now because they're way more like vibrant and
Yeah.
like very soft. That it feels way. I don't know why when I
Yeah.
watch this '90s shit and it's all grungy and it's all
Oh, dude,
animated,
like,
Yeah.
it feels way grosser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and way like worse. Even though Read Over Healer is like, well, fuck.
It's also because as well, like especially shows like like Genocyber or like
Yeah.
Violence Jack or like any of the like really fucking gory 90s
Yeah.
horror anime.
Yeah.
The problem is one, it's less saturated, so it feels more like dark.
always darker, less vibrant.
Yeah, and
like,
also
I don't know.
they're way fucking better animated.
Yeah.
Like,
No, they are.
Genocyber has this one scene where it's like 120 frames per second, guy's head exploding, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this
Sick.
is like too much detail.
They're probably
don't-
gonna for a sick T-shirt though.
That's
It would be, yeah.
See, the reason why I think Redo of Healer is worse is because viscerally, and I think the things that happened in 90s OVAs are yes more fucked up on paper, but I feel like I don't know.
I'm just. I mean, yeah, Read Over Healer.
yeah,
Fucking
I'm not
It's
saying that
fucking
Read Over Here
garbage
wasn't
show.
fucked up, but like
No. The thing that the big reason why I just couldn't really get into Redo of Healer was it was like just.
Oh, if you
big-
got into Read Over Healer, I'd question everything. About
Yeah, it was just like the biggest. This is just obviously the most like power trip.
Yeah, incel fantasy,
Yeah, like
yeah.
incel fantasy that you can get. Whereas I look at a lot of 90s OVAs and I was like, yo, these animators are doing some sick stuff,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Of course it's fucked up. Of course it's like hyper violent and shit. But holy shit, someone was dedicated to their craft.
Oh, yeah,
you know.
definitely.
And in Redo Vahila, it's just like, all right, let's just take the most incel power fantasy you can possibly get. And of course, I don't really take it seriously because
Yeah.
it's just so far of
Yeah,
left
I
field
guess
that
so,
I'm
yeah.
just like, I just don't
it
even
was just
take.
comedic for me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's-
exactly,
it's like
right?
just funny.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I just could not take that shit seriously at all.
So what
you
you're
know?
saying is, if Read Over Healer was as well animated as Genocyber, you would hate it less.
What I'm saying is I would rather Redo of a Healer just be a hentai than
Yeah,
pretend to have
that's
a
true.
plot.
That's
you know,
true.
I would rather it just be a hentai. I
Yeah.
genuinely,
Yeah.
you know, I would generally rather Read Over Healer just be its own thing, have a hentai.
How is it that if Read Over Healer was a hentai, I'd feel less guilty to watch it? How does that make sense?
Because it pretends like it has a plot.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? It pretends like there is character development and there is an ongoing plot line, and that's the thing that bothered me the most about Read Over Healer.
That's like, that's like if I was trying to watch rants on like Crunchyroll.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, no,
Yeah.
this
I'm
shouldn't
like-
belong here.
I'm like, come on, man.
Who are you kidding?
Let's stop pretending here. Let's stop pretending. All right, either go all the way or just don't
do it at all.
Don't do it at
Yeah.
all. You know, that's
I agree with that.
yeah.
I was scrolling on one of those websites and I saw a new cultured anime had been released.
Yes.
And it was just fucking Red Riding Hood being smashed by the wolf. And I think that was the whole premise. But the wolf was like, had like Riz. I like watched it because I was like, I wanted to see how possibly they could sell this.
Grandma, what big riz you have?
It was like, no. It was like the wolf was like trying to like smooth talk. It was really fucking weird.
Oh my god.
And let me, and the second episode was like, it's like even weirder. Let me see what it was real quick.
Oh my god. Yeah, just I don't know.
Hold on.
I feel like I think like the biggest problem with a lot of horror anime is just like a lot of them just do not adapt into animation. Like they're fine in manga format.
Yeah.
Or, you know, even light novel format or like game format, but just something about anime, it just makes it
Hentai's been
less
so bad
scary. I don't know why.
Yeah, do you know what I love? Like when you're just watching an anime that's not a horror anime, but there'll just be this really scary episode in it. Kind of, what is it?
What's up? Oh my fucking!
Let's see.
I thought it was like when you said the wolf, right? I thought you meant like someone dressed up in a
No,
wolf
straight
costume.
up
It's
the wolf.
straight up a wolf.
And the second episode was like Alice in Wonderland being smashed by like, I think like the Mad Hatter
Yeah.
or something. Bro, the hentai this year has been straight ass.
Yeah.
We've had no good shit.
Yeah.
I have not watched hentai in a while.
I agree.
Other than the hentai episode, obviously.
Yeah, other than that's Joey like anime. Hentai is going down the same route. Joey,
Yeah.
just stop watching.
Yeah,
it.
it's
Yeah.
the, we've,
Yeah,
it's gone downhill,
Yeah, I
guys.
didn't mean to bring it out. I just thought that was really fucking funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
There's so much garbage goblin shit this year as well. There's like Goblin one that came out.
Fucking Goblin Slayer just ruined.
Are you
a
telling
whole
me that
generation of
hentai are
anime.
also being over fucking exposed to isekai? Is
Yeah.
this
Bro,
what's
that's what
happening?
That's what it feels like.
Oh my fucking god!
No, because like that shit's invading anime now as well. Because like I did
goblins?
fucking like I did a video recently on like an anime, and it is an anime. It's called My Life is Inukai's Dog.
I heard about this one.
And it's a show where a guy for some reason wakes up and he wakes up as a dog, and his high school crush picks him up and adopts the dog.
Yeah.
And you know, it's an edgy anime, so I thought it was just I've seen this in the before, like POV. You with a girl and she's exercising or something like that. So I thought it would just be I thought that him being reincarnated as a dog would be just like a reason just for some very interesting, let's say, anime camera angles.
Oh, it's a POV anime.
It's kind of a POV.
Oh, God.
Angle. And then you watch episode 1, and then you realize, oh, like this girl, Inukai, this girl, she likes the dog. Like she really likes the dog.
No, God, no!
And it's not even like a reincarnated like, dog. It's not a person wearing a dog costume.
She fucked the dog?
It hasn't gone that far yet, but it's a harem anime.
It's happening.
It's
Harem?
it's a harem anime.
Harem of who?
Of the dog and the girls.
And it's
How many? What?
it's like 3 or 4 and counting right
What?
now. It's
How?
it's like I watched it and I'm like, that's it. That's my line.
You know
That
what's
is it.
terrifying though?
This is my line right now.
I thought
it's
Red
terrifying.
Riding Hood being railed by the wolf was bad.
It's
What the
terrifying
fuck?
because this is not the first time we've had a concept like this in anime. Because a while back we had Dog and Scissors.
Yeah, this one goes. This one takes.
which is like, but this just seems like if Dog and Scissors went down the hentai route.
All right, I'm gonna say one thing that happens in the manga:
Yeah.
breastfeeding.
Hey yo!
Who and who? Who is breastfeeding who?
The dog
The
is
dog
being
is
breastfed.
being breastfed by one of the girls.
No, hold on. Now, explain to me.
Hang on a darn minute.
Now, I gotta ask. Why in the fuck would you breastfeed a dog?
We're a long way from Texas.
We are a long way from
What
Texas, man.
possible reason would you as a human being have as a need to breastfeed a dog? There's no world.
Oh, hey, good to know. At least the anime has a dolphin.
Just make porn.
I kind of wish they did. I
Not
kind
with
of
a
wish.
dog.
I can't believe this is an anime.
Yeah, I saw this.
Because I
and I'm
saw
like,
screenshots of it. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
sick new hentai just came out.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh no, it's being streamed. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's-
Wait, you said it was a sick hentai.
no, I was like, no, I saw it. And I was like, all right, people are talking about this hentai, sure. And then everyone was like, no, you can watch it on streaming sites. I'm like,
yeah.
It's crazy how you literally just say hentai and everyone like absolutely just is immediately cool with like giga fucked up shit.
yeah.
Yeah,
But the
because
moment you say anime, they're
Well,
like,
because at this point, it's like, it's not a surprise.
yeah.
At this point, we've had much
know,
worse.
I'm done.
There
I'm just done. Like
I feel
I'm
like
good on it.
I feel like there should be a line between anime and hentai,
Yes.
right? Because anime it's getting aired on TV. There are some barriers, but there aren't as many barriers as some of the stuff you see in
Yes.
hentai. You know, hentai, you have to go out your way to find hentai, and also because of that, there's, you know, it's kind of like mixing porn with just normal media. Okay, it's, of course, there's a place for that stuff.
Yes.
I feel.
Definitely.
And by reducing and kind of like getting rid of the barrier as much as anime has
Yeah.
recently, it's getting harder and harder to distinguish the fucked up things that is happening in anime versus what's happening in hentai.
I mean, I was thinking that when Ishizoka Reviewers came out.
yeah.
I was like, bro, how is this being aired? Like, I'm like, the manga is fine because it's, you know, it's published by like a publication that's more oriented towards like adult manga, right? So it's like, whatever, it fits in there. Who cares, right? But then when they started when they started airing it, and I was like, oh, they're keeping everything in.
yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, why is this not on a
I was
hentai
like,
website?
that's a bold move.
Yeah,
I
bold
respect it. I respect it.
Yeah.
At the time, I respected it. But now I see Inukai's dog. I'm like, this is the exact moment where humanity went on the wrong path, okay? If this led to Inukai's dog, we have gone down the wrong
We wouldn't
timeline
have
right
had
now.
this if Ishizoka Reviewers didn't pop off.
This never would have happened if Harambe never got shot. I'm just saying it right now. None of this would have
Harambe would have saved us.
None of this would have happened if Harambe didn't get shot. Like straight up.
Fuck,
Why is when's this airing?
Huh?
When's this airing?
It's airing
When is
right
it?
now.
It just finished airing.
Oh,
It
it's
just-
finished.
It just finished. It was airing in winter season. You know, as soon as, you know, I was fine
No
with the
way.
degenerate shit.
What are people saying on YouTube about this thing?
We were fine with the degenerate. I was fine with the degenerate stuff, and to be fair, I'm still fine with the degenerate stuff, you
Yeah.
know. But as soon as we started touching our dogs, literally with Inikai's dogs, that's where I was like, okay, anime has gone too far now.
Nah, one of the top comments to like an anime recap of this is, nah, bro, what is this? Crying face.
The fact that it's like POV as well is just like even more unsettling because
Yeah.
that means this was made with a potential demographic in mind. That like there are a number of people, regardless of gender, who looked at this and went, hell yeah, this is my fantasy right here, dude. Now I can finally live my dream of being reincarnated into a dog and
This
getting
is-
breastfed.
This is really tough for me as a human
Right.
being because
Yeah.
I am very anti censorship and anything you want
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, you just didn't have to make this. Like, you just didn't have to. Like, I don't know how we can not censor you without figuring out a way how I can just get you to not fucking make this.
I'm not gonna ask you to delete the tweet, but it should have
Yeah.
stayed in the draft.
I would never enforce being able to delete your work.
Yeah.
But how do I delete it for you?
Keep it in the drafts, bro.
How do I? Yeah. Like
How can I just delete this from the internet and everyone's consciousness? But
Like this really, this is like the fucking tough, the sweating button thing. But I am vehemently anti-censorship, but like this is like this pushes it where I'm like, dude, something just shouldn't be made, and like this shouldn't be an anime. This should be on a hentai website, like a
Yeah.
soft, like in the vanilla category of like, yeah, it's whatever. Some fucking nice shit happens. I don't
Yeah.
fucking know.
yeah,
At least we get in Joshi Lucky episode 3 and 4.
that's the
That's
good
at least
shit.
a
That's,
double.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
and we're getting more of a
And
hospital.
5 and 6 has been announced too.
Let's go.
That's
If you
what
don't
we
know what,
need,
it's a great
baby.
hentai. It's a great hentai.
I do miss the High School of the Dead days, though. You know,
my God, bro.
the older
Rest
I
in
get,
peace.
the older I get, the more I realize, yeah, that was a classic.
Dude, it's a banger.
That was a classic show, man.
I owned that on Blu-ray.
Did you really?
I don't even have a Blu-ray player. I collected anime Blu-rays just because I liked like collecting the physical media.
Yeah.
And I never had anything to watch it on.
You know, like, because I'm thinking back and I was just like, there is no other anime like High School of the Dead
No.
that just has so much care and attention being put into equal parts of just action and just being fucking horny.
Yeah.
Normally, it's like you just are either, it's a really, really fucking horny show and that's the only reason you're watching it. Or
Episode
it's
6. I even remember the episode
Is
number.
this the one made by the Death Note guy?
Yeah.
No.
No, it was directed by the same guy that directed Death,
Death
Note,
Note,
the
yeah.
anime.
The-
Tetsuo Araki.
The author's dead.
Yeah, who
For what?
High School of the Dead.
Oh.
Yeah, he died a while back. Yeah,
unfortunately. Oh, shit.
unfortunately.
Yeah, but the same guy who directed High School of the Dead directed Death Note and season 1 of Attack on Titan as
Yeah.
well.
Araki
which is
Tetsuro,
yeah, which is why
So this man just doesn't miss.
this man doesn't
He's
miss.
goated.
The fact that he could make High School of the Dead as memorable as it is, even though it's the fucking dumbest plot line and it's just there to be horny, but yet the action in it just slaps so goddamn
Opening
hard.
is still a hood classic.
Oh man. That fucking scene with the boob matrix, he was ahead of his time. That scene is still etched into my mind to this day.
So good.
It's like anytime I want to feel like a teenager again, I just pop on that scene and I'm like, ha.
I'm gonna shoot a rifle through a pair of flopping tits while
Yeah.
using another pair of tits as leverage. You can't make that shit up.
Yeah.
So good. Do I remember how it ends? No.
No.
Do I care? Also no.
Imagine if we got the director to direct One Punch Man.
Araki Tetsuro?
Araki Tetsuro.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Am I crazy? Is One Punch Man season 3 coming out?
It's coming out.
It's coming
yeah.
out.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm not
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't imagine that.
I believe the rumors are that Studio Mappa have got the
How?
license.
How?
I don't
How do they
know.
have everything?
I don't know.
Bro, they're like Thanos right now. They're like another one for the collection.
Another classic Adam.
Yeah,
This is insane.
Yeah, I don't know how they're collecting everything. I think they're taking a lot of like Chainsaw Man was like a big risk for them because they actually like funded it themselves. So that's why
That
they have
wasn't a
like
risk.
sorry.
That was not a risk.
I mean, it's something new that most anime studios haven't done. They haven't funded their
brain
own
move.
anime. Fucking big brain.
Yeah.
And of course, it's kind of like it's got to have paid off. But that's kind of the reason why Chainsaw Man has had was able to have like I guess like 12 different endings and the insane fucking animation.
That was insane.
That was such overkill, but man, I was living for it.
Yeah, like going back to something we were talking about earlier, speaking about horror anime and just the lack of it. One thing I always find interesting is when there's like a series that's not a horror series, but then they have like an episode that's just really fucking terrifying or like really, really scary in itself, right?
Do you have an example?
One of the examples that I always
SpongeBob.
Wait, which SpongeBob episode?
When they get stuck at the place in Bikini Bottom, when they go down the
The down the cliff. Yeah.
That was kind of
scary. Yeah.
Sorry, God.
I've not seen a single SpongeBob episode, so I have no horse in this race. I have no horse in this
Get
race.
One
episode.
There's no dog cest.
Yeah. God fucking damn it. Now, one episode that stands out to me is there was an episode of like Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, and fucking
good.
insane anime. It's basically cyberpunk before cyberpunk existed. What do you think?
I had a memory. I'm sorry. Do you want me to say it or do you want to finish?
Yeah, go on, say it.
It's been so long since I watched Ghost in the Shell. There's like a plot point where they find the guy and they're like, "How do you have so much money?" He's like, "Well, I just took every extra yen that happened during every bank transaction off the top." And I was like, in my head, I'm like, what? Like every bank transaction?
Yeah.
Because it would be like millions of Just take 1 yen from all of them. Or something, or he would take the like. It was so fucking stupid.
Hey man, that's fucking.
And he was
man.
he was like, "That's how I'm a billionaire." And we were like, "Oh my god, I never thought about that. If only I could do that. If only I could take $1 off the top of every bank transaction."
1
It's
cent.
more like 1 cent, right?
It was something like 0.1 yen from every bank transfer.
Yeah.
And he made it seem like he was a gigabrain dude. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I haven't. Okay, go on.
No, that was. I like that episode actually.
I like that one too.
Yeah, but there was one episode where they were trying to find this serial killer, and I don't know why this scene always sticks out with me because
The smiling guy.
not the smiling guy.
That was also terrifying.
That was also
terrifying.
pretty terrifying. There was a lot of actually pretty scary
I gotta
stories.
watch that again.
Because it's such a good fucking series. But there was this one episode where, so it basically follows like the whole concept of Ghost in the Shell. Imagine cyberpunk, that kind of world, but you follow a police squad, like a police squad. That's basically the core concept, and it's all like episodic kind of episodes. So every episode has a different storyline that's kind of self-contained. And in this one episode, they are looking for this serial killer. And the way that the serial killer's MO is that he loves to skin his subjects alive. And the thing that he does while doing it is, since it's in a cyberpunk-like world, what he does is that he jacks into the girls. He skins girls, by the way. He jacks into the girls that he's about to skin and transmits POV what he's looking at to the girls' retinas.
How do I not remember this?
So what happens is he transmits his POV to the girl's retinas, so the girl can't close her eyes, and he will skin them alive while the girl is watching herself being skinned alive live.
Fucked.
And the terrifying thing is they never show anything in this episode. They never show anything. It's just the description of the crimes itself. And there's one scene where they're watching one of the recordings of the girl being skinned, right? And all you hear is just the sound of this happening, the screams, and one of the guy running out and just throwing up. And that fucking terrified me, man.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it didn't show anything, I think kind of even made it worse, right? That was that whole episode has just stuck with me so strongly, not because the content itself is terrifying, but just like the whole idea of that shit happening.
I think, as you said, like it's the fact that they don't show what is happening.
Yeah.
And they show the before and the after.
Yeah.
Is like, because like that reminded me as well, like one of the scariest scenes in Perfect Blue.
Yeah.
Was the one where was it Perfect Blue or Paprika? I forgot which one it was, but it was like
Satoshi Kon movie.
Yeah, it was one of the Satoshi Kon films, but it's like the one where like the guy goes into the elevator, and there's like a radio just playing.
Yeah.
And I think the concept was like the killer like leaves behind like a radio or some kind of object in it to like notify that he's about to die.
Yeah.
And it's this brilliant scene of like Satoshi Kon not actually showing the murder happening, but he shows the before of the guy going into the elevator, seeing the radio, him getting terrified, and the door closes.
Yeah.
And then the next moment is the door opens and he's already dead.
Yeah.
Right. And it's this idea of like, it's not showing the gore as it's happening. It's showing like something fucking happened here.
Yeah.
But we're going to leave it up to your imagination, because your imagination is probably going to just, expand upon the fucked upness.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more terrifying, right? And like, that's so hard to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like a really good director, like say like Oshimamura for Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah,
like, he's
yeah.
so good at doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I remember that scene as well.
And like another like not scene, but another like character that fucking terrifies me. Johan from Monster.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
the
he never
best anime villain ever.
holy
in my
shit.
opinion.
Yeah. No, I totally 100% agree. He is by far the best anime villain to be written. He terrifies me, and do you ever like really see him do anything like fucked up, like gory or anything
No.
like that? But like just I don't know. Throughout all of Monster, whether you read the manga or watch the anime, you can feel his presence everywhere, right? And I don't know how the author was able to just convey that everywhere you just feel his presence, kind of like a ghost, and just the idea of him as a character also is just fucking terrifying. That it's kind of like the shit that keeps you up at night,
Monster's
right?
such a good series.
Yeah.
And
That's
the-
why he's the GOAT.
The dub is really good as well.
Yeah, the dub is
really
the dub
good.
is great as
Johan
well.
sounds terrifying in the dub.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johan is terrifying in the dub. And what's great as well is that even though as the series goes on, you find out more and more about his backstory, you never find out enough that it stops being terrifying, right? And it goes all the way up until the very last scene, the very last page of the manga. I just remember it because I'm like, how are they going to end this? And you don't remember it. Well, Connor's not the type of person that remembers something after you finish watching it. We've established this already, but it ends it in the most like perfect and yet terrifying way, where Johan poses a question, I guess, and it just like, okay, that just somehow just tied everything together, and I'm
think
just
I
like,
remember this.
oh
Gonna
shit.
rewatch 70 episodes.
It's been a
Yeah.
long time since I read the manga, but
Yeah,
fuck, it
yeah.
makes me want to reread Monster now.
I want to rewatch Ghost in the Shell too, because I don't remember anything.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot about Ghost in the Shell, but I just remember that it fucking
The only thing I
slaps.
remember is in the latest Ghost in the Shell, in 2045, I think it was called, just fucking Kusanagi backflipping up the stairs. Which was the fucking most hilarious CG you'll ever see in your life.
They made
Yeah.
a new one on Netflix.
Yeah.
And the CG is
Oh my god, her just backflipping up the stairs is
Yeah.
so funny.
like actually bad.
Actually
not
bad.
like Attack on Titan fans
Yeah.
complaining over one
Yeah.
microsecond of
Yeah.
CG.
Was I the only one that found episode 6 of Cyberpunk Edge Runners kind of like scary as well? Just the way it was directed.
Which one was episode 6?
Not so much scary, more so like, oh no.
That episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it's easily one of the best episodes in the show.
Oh, I think it is like by far and beyond the best episode in the show.
I think just like the last 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, I don't
is,
know.
like, incredible. Yeah.
I just found the way that they portrayed cyberpsychosis.
Yeah.
Just that really like gave me like an unnerving feeling. Seeing some of like your favorite characters like experience cyberpsychosis.
It was cool because it's like normally when you hear about the concept of cyberpsychosis, it's fucking terrifying.
On the
Yeah.
game, it's dumb as fuck.
It is almost
Really?
Like we got another psycho. Go and gun them down. And then you just go and fucking shoot them, and it never happens to you.
Right.
It's never
Yeah.
a threat to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the protagonist.
I think what was so good about that in Cyberpunk was that like it's scary, but also because you know about the person that it's happening to, you also feel really empty inside.
Yeah.
Of like you just feel sad, and you're like, oh, fucking hell, why?
Yeah.
Like why did it come to this kind of thing? And then when that scene happens, you're just left with this idea of like, fuck. Now I don't want to watch it anymore. This is making me sad. What the fuck? But I'm also gonna keep watching it.
Yeah. I mean, did you all watch it like one day as well? Because it just
I
it,
binged it,
it goes so fucking
I binged
fast.
it, yeah.
I
right?
watched it on one flight, the one that I was on with you, and I was
yeah.
like broken by the end. Of the night. The guy was like, "Do you want another cup of tea?" I was like, "Yes."
And some tissues, please.
But no, I mean, yeah, I would love to see more horror in anime because that's I don't know if
I
you
do
can
too.
do it. I don't know if you can do
Bro,
it
what do
well.
you mean? We got the fucking dog-cest one.
That was the most that was the most horrific thing I've ever seen in
Do
my
you think
life.
there would be any live action horror films that would work in anime?
Wait. You
Wait,
broke my
wait.
brain
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you just
yeah.
said that.
Well, so as in like we've seen a lot of anime being turned into live action.
Yeah.
But what if you took an already pre-existing live action horror film and turned it into an anime? Do you think it would be as effective? Like if you took like say The Ring.
I'd love like an animated parody of Paranormal Activity.
That's just another.
It's like
Yeah, that is another.
That's just
it's
another.
It's like Chainsaw Man characters, like Denji is just like, oh dude, why am I someone grabbing my leg?
The problem with like horror anime is that to me, when I see something animated, it's there's always that suspension of disbelief that's there, you know, where there's like a kind of safety zone where even if some really violent and gory shit's happening, there's always this disconnect where I'm seeing that, oh, okay, it's animated, therefore it's not real, therefore it's not scary, which is why I rarely find anime horrific unless it's Inukai's dog, but like in terms of like live action horror, that's where I kind of like draw the line because I can't, my brain's just like, oh, this is real, this is happening.
So
now.
maybe like something, say like, you know, because there's a lot of horror movies, like live action movies that, you know, use ideas of like sci-fi and fantasy and stuff like that to like kind of pose it, right? But I've always thought like, you know, like that's very far removed from reality. So do you think like if it was well animated enough, do you think that would work? Like as much as I don't like the movie, right? Like what if they took like Cloverfield and they like turned it into an anime?
No.
Dude. Sharknado.
Sharknado in anime.
That would be hype.
To get UFO table on a Sharknado anime.
I can picture now them jumping on the fucking sharks and the tornado to like kill the big shark.
Like super slow-mo, just like boom.
I can see it. I can see it.
That'd be hype.
That would be so hype. I would love to see that.
Get Science Saru on that.
Yeah.
Oh, you do. If we get a Science Saru Sharknado.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just I'm happy to be proved wrong, but I've never found a horror, specifically horror anime that has scared me to the point of a live action horror.
Yeah.
Or a.
I wonder if that's again, what you're mentioning, like just the animated medium is just inherently less scary.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Courage the Cowardly Dog was pretty fucking scary.
That shit was terrifying, actually, straight up.
That was animated.
Yeah, some of those words actually.
Red and Stimpy was pretty scary at times.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like fucking nightmare fuel at some points, man. Holy shit. How did they get away with some of this stuff?
They can do it in Western cartoons, so I wonder why they can't do it in anime.
Seems like now that game adaptations are all the rage, though. Seems like that's
Yeah,
where
yeah.
we had the Super Mario Bros. Movie that I haven't seen yet, but apparently is popping off.
Yeah.
And then Castlevania, Cyberpunk. I think Last of Us. I'm hoping we get more games.
True.
Dude, because I want Doom animated so bad. A Doom anime animated by Studio Trigger.
Because we all want to forget about the live action, right?
Bro, yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Imagine Doom animated.
Is the live action that bad?
It
Yes.
was horrendous.
Like Resident Evil is god awful.
Yeah, Resident Evil.
The movies
shit.
are campy as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like the Mortal Kombat movies. You ever watch those?
Yeah, I kind of like
Did
that.
the
No,
Dude.
I like it, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not a horror film.
No.
It's a fucking stupid
It's-
ass.
it's hilarious.
Comedy movie. It's an Adam Sandler film that somehow thinks it's a horror movie.
I remember because the Doom movie has The Rock in it, right?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately, I can't take it seriously.
I don't know. Like, are you talking about like the original Mortal Kombat movie? I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, but that's
Holy
because it's like
fuck.
I watched the latest one. I don't know why I did. That was bad.
I think the original one had its own. I'm like, oh my god,
it has
the
its charms. Yes.
The fucking soundtrack.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Like,
that
oh
alone,
my god, what a fucking classic. Yeah, yeah.
so good.
Like that was like the techno 90s in a nutshell.
Did you watch the second one though?
Yeah, I did. Okay, that was bad. That was bad. That was actually bad.
They literally like
Yeah.
cut the budget by like a
Is there-
20th.
as far as I know, there's only one good one, right?
What, the
Mortal
first
Kombat
one?
one.
Mortal Kombat one? The
Kombat?
first one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good.
I wouldn't say it's good,
It's-
but like
it's like-
it's fun to watch.
It's entertaining. It's
Yeah.
funny, and like
It's
when
like
it
the
goes-
90s Mario Brothers
Who's
movie.
funding
It's
these
not good.
movies?
Yeah,
Who's
and
funding
just
them?
it's just the soundtrack that just goes like challenge. what did he say? It was like do 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 do, and then like some guy shouts Mortal Kombat. Do, 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 do. Oh my fucking god!
hype.
What a fucking hype tune, man.
Any fighting games you think could make good animes? The Guilty Gear?
fighting
Guilty
games.
Gear?
Maybe could.
Maybe.
I mean, it's basically already an
that
anime.
is basically
Yeah, but
already
like
an
actual
anime itself.
story.
Is there any fighting games that has a good story?
I think the problem is fighting games have giant rosters.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you incorporate them? You know, 'cause a
Well,
lot
they
of
tried
time-
to do it with Mortal Kombat, right? But they could only
And then
choose a
you- yeah,
couple of characters.
Because always as well,
I don't know if you feel this way. All the most interesting characters in the fighting games are like the weird ones. Like, because you always have the bog standard characters, which are like the main characters.
Dude, I want
it's like Mario in Smash Brothers. Like Mario is the most boring character in Smash Brothers.
Dude, I want a movie of Kuma from Tekken.
That's what I was thinking about.
I want to
that
see
too.
CGI
I was thinking about
Kuma
that. That's
fucking
just
fighting
cocaine
everyone.
bad.
Yeah,
It's just cocaine bad.
That is just cocaine.
it is just cocaine. Man.
Oh
I
my
know.
fucking God.
Yeah. I want to. Oh man. What's the? Because I feel like they're gonna make another Mario movie, right? 'Cause it did well.
Probably,
How do
yeah.
you make the next story?
I mean,
Yoshi's Island.
Yoshi's fucking.
I mean, I haven't seen the
kids?
Mario movie, but they could definitely make another Mario
Yeah.
movie,
True.
right?
Just do like a Mario Galaxy or like a Mario Sunshine. and,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
Story right
There
there.
are so many Mario characters, and that I'm sure did not get the spotlight. I mean,
Luigi's Mansion. We need a fucking Luigi's Mansion.
Wario.
fucking
Or Wario World.
Wario World. Fuck yeah, man.
Wario, played by Danny DeVito. That's a movie, right? In itself.
Has Mario ever had an anime?
Yes.
Yes,
It
it has.
did. It also had. It also
They had a Saturday
has.
TV show cartoon.
Oh,
was-
it did,
was
didn't
bad.
It also has a manga that I used to read when I was little, and it's been still going for like 40 years.
Oh, do you want to know one announcement I saw like earlier today that just made me sigh? Rick and Morty is getting an anime.
Wait, what?
Rick and Morty
Wait, who?
is getting an anime.
Don't tell me it's Mappa.
How does that make sense?
Please don't let
Isn't
it be
it-
Mappa.
I don't know, but
Isn't
like,
it already animation? How do they?
but like season 7 is obviously still getting made, but
Yeah.
there is another separate, I guess, non-canon like season that is getting animated by a Japanese studio that is Rick and Morty the anime.
これはピクリケです。
めっちゃ面白いです。Rick and Morty.
And I'm just like, oh,
How are they?
oh,
How is that? That humor is not going to translate.
not.
It is not going to translate.
Why?
It's like when you watch Simpsons dubbed. Like it just doesn't.
Yeah, right.
It just doesn't work.
I
Why?
just
Who's
like,
asking for this?
I don't know. I don't. It's, Rick and Morty fans are asking for.
No, they're not. No, there's no.
no, they're not. Guarantee.
Bro, Rick and Morty fans fell off because of all the fucking Justin Roiland shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How the fuck did they get greenlit?
I don't know.
Oh, what I am excited about though is the Scott Pilgrim anime. That's
Oh,
Yes.
That
The
is
entire
actually
cast?
hella excited
That
for
is
that
so
one.
hype.
Holy shit!
The entire cast as well.
Yeah,
as
the
in-
entire
Yeah.
cast is going back. I don't know how they're gonna. I don't know how Michael Cera is gonna be voice acting, but I'm genuinely curious. You know,
It's gonna be Michael Cera.
it's just yeah. I'm
Just hearing Michael Cera come out of a fucking anime character is gonna be hilarious.
And like they got Chris Evans back.
Yeah.
I mean, they got like the entire cast back, and Masaki Iwasa isn't directing it from what I understand, but they got his studio to make.
Oh,
it. And-
really?
yeah. And if there's one studio I trust to be able to
Science
translate, the weirdness and the uniqueness of
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim from live action to anime, it's Science Sara.
Yeah.
Because
definitely.
that's another thing. I do think Scott Pilgrim is like a one of a kind kind of movie
Mm.
as well. There is no other film that I think has done what Scott Pilgrim has tried to do as well as Scott Pilgrim has done.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a Edgar Wright film.
That's
right?
an Edgar Wright
Yeah,
film.
I mean, he's just a brilliant fucking director.
Well,
in
he's a
general.
brilliant director that, respectfully tries to do something new
Yeah.
every time, kind of like Nolan in that sense.
Mm.
But, there has been other like kind of like, hey, here's like a nerd movie to appeal to the nerds, kind of thing.
me.
That's I like just
that.
like me, like, well, he made a video game. He made
Yo, hold on, let me turn off Mortal
That's why
Kombat.
my favorite movie is Gamers.
Yeah.
What?
Gamers.
Oh,
Gamers?
The one with Adam Sandler and Peter Dinklage.
That's a movie.
No, it's called. Is it called Pixels or Gamers? What's it called, Kai?
I think it's called Pixels.
Pixels,
Yeah.
yes.
I love that one. I love that film.
What's was it Free Guy or Good Guy?
Free Guy.
Free Guy. Yeah, that was another film that was just.
I
Like,
didn't watch
yo,
that. Was it good?
This guy, hey gamers. I don't know. Jack.
Jack
Sean
was in it,
Sean was
yeah.
in it, yeah.
Yeah, Sean was in it. I'm always a bit wary when my cousin like really likes a nerd film because he's
I don't trust his taste.
dude's like a fucking brother to me, right?
Yeah.
But he's on the cusp of just like, yes, I'm a nerd. I like Marvel movies kind of guy.
No.
I play video games.
Dude, now it's in to hate on Marvel though.
Now it's kind of hype.
Is it?
It's in, yeah. It's into hate on Marvel.
I don't think it's in to hate on
It is,
Marvel.
It's in. It's mainstream now.
What do you mean it's mainstream?
I'm a pioneering. I'm hating Marvel movies.
I mean, I've been doing it for years.
No, I know.
Joey's like, my time has come.
Like, you were kind of a
Brothers rejoice.
You were pretentious before, but now it's in.
Oh, fuck's
Now
sake.
it's in. So now you have to change your stance.
God. Now I hate it.
You have to say Ant-Man Quantum Realm is the best film ever.
Yeah.
It's like everyone. No one says nice things about Marvel movies anymore.
But is it just because the quality's going down? Or?
Yeah, because it's terrible.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting.
I'm so fucking happy we finally get different movies
Yeah,
for like
right.
the next coming years.
Yeah,
Thank God.
yeah, I'm so.
If only
People
they
will
did that
actually
with
make
if,
other
if only
movies.
they did that with Isekai anime.
Yeah, well,
All right,
no, isekai animes.
the population of Japan has to get bored with isekai at some point. It's gotta happen.
I said that 5 years ago. We're still
no,
here.
it's gonna happen.
I don't know. I mean, as long as they keep making interesting isekai concepts, I'm gonna keep watching. I'm
Define interesting. Because, you know, you could say the vending machine isekai is interesting.
that's not interesting. That's just
This dog
meme.
one. This dog one. That's too
not
far.
that's not an isekai.
What do you mean? Yeah, like, we don't belong here long enough. We don't claim
my
it.
man.
We don't claim
That
it.
ain't my man's
We
right
don't
there.
claim it.
That ain't my man's.
It's
Okay.
in the reincarnation. It's totally. It's more Buddhist, honestly, than it is isekai. It's totally different.
That ain't my
More religious,
man's.
actually.
That ain't my man's.
It's body
actually.
transfusion. It's not isekai.
It's more furry, actually. It's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
the furry's fault.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the furry's fault.
It's
It's
furry's
always the
fault.
furry's
Yeah.
fault.
Okay, I mean, like, isekai is actually very similar to like the whole comic book phase that Hollywood is going
yeah.
through, where it's less about isekai sells. People clearly watch it.
It's the
all right?
familiarity.
It's the familiarity
Yes.
with it, and 99% of isekai fucking sucks ass, right? But then you get that 1%, which is genuinely just isekai side, just a good fucking story and a good
Yes.
fucking show. Same with fucking comic book movies, right? You have a
no,
lot of
I'm
comic
not-
book movies, and then you get on the off chance you get something like Joker.
Yeah, no,
You
I'm
know.
not denying that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I might seem like the fucking I just hate all isekai like guy, but
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me.
Look, I'm not going to be like
Straight up
that.
me.
There's some good isekai out there, like of course, but
Yeah.
you know, I feel like the 99% of the shit ones could have been replaced with actually some more unique, interesting concepts. That there are a fucking plethora of those in the manga and even the light novel world that just don't get any attention because the guy has remained in the same fucking world.
I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
We're trying to get to the point where we just straight up remake other animes and just like, but the premise is that you isekai just into that anime. like they're not going to say it, right? So like, picture this: someone dies,
Yeah.
and they appear in another world. Watch this. They've got a book where you write someone's name and they die in it. Like, and they just start repeating aspects of Death Note.
So at the end of One Piece, Luffy actually dies, and then he becomes a Shinigami with Ichigo. And
I'm telling you, in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll get an anime that is just somebody who isekais another world and becomes a pirate, and there's like a ton of One Piece references, and it's just fucking dog shit.
that just sounds like a Gintama
Yeah.
chapter.
That's just it. They're just gonna start remaking anime,
Yeah.
and just slapping on an isekai on it.
I mean, a lot of times I feel like when I watch an isekai, I kind of just ignore the isekai aspect.
Yeah, you
now.
have to now, 'cause it makes no fucking sense.
Just because it kind of feels like in like 80% of isekai that I watch, the isekai is irrelevant to the fucking story.
Of course.
But I feel like the author just put that in because he's just like, I need to put isekai in my story somehow,
Yeah.
or no one's actually gonna watch or read my work.
Yeah.
But like,
I feel like isekai almost kind of like diminishes the value of the other world inherently, because it's
Yeah.
like, oh well, it's not his world. We are the main world. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, whereas Made in Abyss is like, hey, this is the world.
yeah,
This is
Yeah.
the characters, their world.
And,
Like,
and
it's
that's the
not-
unfortunate thing
I
is
don't know.
that like there are so many like modern
Challenge,
isekai
yeah.
that have interesting like little bits of concepts that would easily stand up on its own.
Yeah.
But the problem is it fucking it knee jerks itself by
Mm.
adding isekai into it because it's a necessity nowadays
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is how to get the kids' attention. Put it in an isekai, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, if you have an interesting concept, you can keep it in the same world. You could, I think people have forgotten that the fantasy genre exists. You can just start in that world. It doesn't have to come from a different world.
Yeah.
You can just start there.
No, I mean, even above that, people I would like people to remember that the fantasy genre is more than just the same starting Final Fantasy town. which is every fantasy and isekai anime. It's all the same fucking world, and it's just like fantasy.
It's like, dog, can I copy your homework?
it's like copying the homework from the guy that has given his homework to like the 20 other people in the class, and everyone is
all
copying from the same sheet.
Yeah.
You know, because like it's interesting you mentioned about like the world building as well, because like you've seen Rising of the Shield Hero, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of the biggest thing that pissed me off about Rising of the Shield Hero is that it just felt like the whole world was made around the main character.
Yeah.
Right? Like the main character was obviously like the most competent and the smartest person in the world, but it wasn't because he seemed like he was competent or smart. It was because everyone around him was just fucking stupid.
Yeah, it
You
was
know?
like if he said like 2 + 2 is 5, everyone would be like, shit, you're right.
yeah, right.
He's the shield hero. What can he say?
He's the shield hero.
It's the most useless class, but actually it's impressive how he's managed to make everything work so far.
Yeah,
so we should
yeah.
just believe him.
I feel that's like a big problem is that like they don't. It doesn't feel like the world exists independent to the main character.
Yeah, it feels like the world is built around the main character to make the main character look as cool and as badass as possible.
It's like, it felt like it was just like no game, no life world, but
Yeah.
shitter.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
least commit to how fucking stupid this world is.
Yeah, exactly.
how it's,
And like now,
built around you.
and like now that's the peak of that kind of like stupid power fantasy has come out, which is called Eminence and Shadow. That's as good as it can get. That's what happens when you take like you. This is like an isekai where it takes all like the stupid and overpowered tropes, bangs everything up to 100, makes the main character as cringy and as edgelord as possible, and it just like it's so stupid and overpowered that it just becomes fun again. You know,
Right.
That's like the peak of the genre. That's been done now, isekai. So now we can do other avenues. Now we can explore other avenues.
Like taking every immovable object possible and putting the fucking protagonist into it.
yeah. That's what I want to see. But
Is that what you want to see though? I'm done with it, bro.
I don't know. I just want to see good shows.
I watched so many anime back in the phase of when I would watch anything. There was an anime, and there was like monoliths, and that like
Monoliths?
the main character had like a cute little girl that was a fucking cat or some shit, and they just stayed near the monoliths. And there was a guy in like a top hat and one of those like fucking masks, like the anonymous masks.
Black Bullet.
Like that's it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
How the fuck did I remember that?
Holy shit! How did
Yo.
you get that from my dog shit description?
I'm the anime man, damn it.
He is the anime man. Did you like Black Bullet?
No, it was shit. It was shit.
I remember watching.
It had like the
That's-
first half of the first episode. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this could be interesting,
This is how I like.
and then it just went to shit.
This is how I know, unless you've been watching anime for 5+ years, that your opinion on anime is not relevant.
Yeah.
Is because I used to think that shit was fire, and I was like 1 year
Yeah.
into. Because I was 1 year into watching anime, and I thought,
Yeah.
damn, this shit is
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah, but that's you could replace Black Bullet with Akame ga Kill,
I just feel
Mirai
like
Nikki.
you have that phase with anime where
Data
it's,
Life.
where it's all.
No, the Data Life fans never grew out of that phase, Joey.
I don't know if like it's a different length for everyone, but I think everyone has a time period where you will no longer tolerate every anime.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you,
it's the end of the honeymoon period.
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I think
yeah.
for some people, I speak to them, I'm like, holy shit, you've been in this and you're still going like 8 years strong. Like, how do you just watch these isekai? I think it's good.
Hi, that's me.
Yeah,
Hello.
right.
Like,
Hello,
no,
that's
because
me.
you talk about anime and you're like, no, it's bad.
Yeah.
But you'll still watch it, which is this insane part.
Yeah, you're out of the question because it's your job.
Yeah. And also,
No,
you are
okay.
getting paid.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Okay,
No way would you watch half of these isekai if you weren't getting paid.
Most of the time, I just read the manga actually,
Okay,
because less time. But some isekai I think genuinely do have interesting. Like the reason I like isekai isn't the isekai aspect. A lot of the times a lot of them have like one really cool, interesting idea that they explore for about a few volumes, and then it stops, and then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I can move on to the next one now. It's not like the isekai part. It's that one interesting idea that they explore, and then because it's isekai so disposable, then it's just really easy to like move on from one series to another, because every series explores a different thing, and then it's never interesting enough to hold up for like 10 volumes or something. It's
Yeah.
just like, I read it for like 4 volumes and I'm done, and then I can move on to the next interesting idea. But like I don't know. I do watch a lot of anime, but I feel like I watch less anime than people think I watch, because
Impossible.
Okay, so I watch everything when the season comes out, right? A lot of that time I watch that in times 2 speed because I fucking have to now because there's like 50 shows every season. But I genuinely only go off and finish the shows that I find interesting. I think are going to be good. And most of those shows end up on my end of year list. So I end up watching like 20 plus shows every year, which if you think about how much people think I watch, I'm sure people think I watch way more.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between the shows I watch and the shows I finish. And I only finish a show if I really fucking like it.
Oh
And
yeah, no.
yeah, and I feel like that's a big thing because I feel like there's a reason, right? There's a reason why the average score on Mao is like 7 out of 10. Right, because like a lot of people are like, oh, people don't know how to review correctly, and I'm like, no, you're not gonna finish a 5 out of 10 show. I normally only finish shows if they're 7 out of 10 minimum, right?
See, that was the problem I had.
Yeah.
Even if it was dog shit,
Yeah.
I stuck through all of those until the end, and that's why I'm burnt out.
See, it was only when I could let go of that feeling of the completionist side of you.
Yeah.
As soon as I let that part go, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna finish what I feel like finishing.
I tried to do all the side quests, and I found out there was no end game.
Yeah. So like this last season, didn't actually watch anything aside from Vinland Saga.
Right.
That was it. That was all I watched. That was one anime.
Pretty fucking good, though.
Yeah, because
it's great.
Vinland Saga was fucking incredible, but the season itself, pretty shit. Actually, no. I did finish one. Trigun. Fucking.
Oh yes,
Trigun was great.
I did finish.
Does
that.
it have a good ending?
What do you mean?
Trigun.
Well, it goes in a completely different direction.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So, have you
I
watched the
The
original?
original.
at
I
all?
watched the original. I thought the ending was weird.
Okay, throw everything you know about the original out the window, because this one goes a completely different direction. It's less comedic, and I would say less like Western in
Okay,
terms of
cool.
like it's.
It leans more into the sci-fi side.
It
right?
leans way more into the sci-fi aspect, which even just saying sci-fi aspect is kind of like a soft spoiler if you only are judging by the original, because that doesn't really come to play until like halfway through the series. But it's less of a spaghetti western, which is very reminiscent of the original, and it's more of like, here is a weird sci-fi story in a sci-fi world. It's more akin to something like Dune. And I really like that. And holy shit, Studio Orange knocked it out of the park.
They don't miss. They don't miss.
Why is it called a spaghetti western?
Huh?
We don't call other shit.
Oh,
like
it's because the term originally came from the fact that a lot of Western films were directed by Italians.
Oh.
I literally found this out like 2 days ago from a YouTube short. So thanks, YouTube.
Well, you learn something
That's
new
realized in
every
my
day.
head, I was like, that's a fucking weird
Yeah.
way of saying it. We don't go like, like a Japanese tuna. We're like, or like yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, a tuna horror.
A sushi marvel.
Well, I guess that's.
But
that's
that
episode.
has been this episode of Trash Taste. Is there a good horror anime that we
No.
missed? Is there any horror movies that you would recommend? Please let me know so I could seem like I'm like a good husband to Sydney to be like,